All right, here with Phoebus head football coach Jeremy Blunt. His Phantoms won it tonight 56-6 at Lake Taylor. Coach, really impressive performance for your team to win this by 50. I think the most Phoebus had ever scored in its history with Lake Taylor. You guys have a long history, it was like 27. So to have this type of showing, what do you take away from it? It is only game one, but certainly some positives for sure.
You know, certainly. I'm going to start right here. You understand you're playing a team like Lake Taylor. You know, I have so much respect for Coach Sawyer. You know, they run an awesome program over here, and they're going to bring it every week. You know, these guys, they didn't get a whole week of practice. They've been out for 2 weeks. And, you know, for us, we understood that they're a premier program in the state, as are we, and they're going to come out and bring it. So we can't step down with the understanding that, hey, they didn't practice, because they're going to bring everything that they have. I like the way our guys stepped up to that. They didn't play down. You know, they understood that we had to send a message, but also set a certain tone. And it showed up front, and I was really proud of our guys and the way we were able to establish that some consistency and move the ball.
Physical nature, which is going back to old championship Phoebus teams. And I think another thing that kind of stands out to me is you win this game by 50, and these guys aren't jubilant or celebratory. They knew this was kind of business-like. This was their mentality. You guys didn't have full pads in practice this week because of the heat. And even your guys, speaking with Kamari, KK Gray, and Mark Wagner, who we'll get to in a moment, they're talking about, you know, last year the playoff loss to Lafayette. It's still sitting with them. So how much have you kind of seen that maturity from these guys going back to the spring to now, and that kind of shine through a little bit?
They put a lot of work in, and when we got the nod that we were going to play this spring, you know, that group was primed and ready to go. A lot of those kids came back, and they have a sour taste in their mouth from that loss. You know, Lafayette put it on us. We were able to make a stride back toward the second half, but I mean, the reality is they did all their damage first half. And our guys put the focus on that during the offseason, and we understand going into every game, it's going to be easy for our opponent to get up for our game. Our target on our back is huge. People can get up for the Phoebus game. This group is understanding that, you know, we got to be able to step up to that challenge. That, hey, whether you want to get up or not, they're coming with everything that they have, and that's where the business-like mentality comes from with these guys. We talk about that, being poised every day, you know, and fighting for that greater picture, you know. And
speaking of the Lafayette game, a guy that was on the other side was Donald Gatling. He has 2 pick sixes in the second half tonight, one coming from out of the end zone. It was almost like what happened to you years back with Daz Newsome. He took it all the way to the house. For a guy that didn't have tonight the touches, and you got a bunch of different guys that can step up as receivers. Him, Gray, who we saw, Jalen Mayo, the list goes on and on. I mean, how pleased are you with him to see embracing that two-way playmaker role, if you will?
I mean, you know, he's an awesome talent, man, and he comes to a list of awesome talents here, and he fits in well. Very humble kid, you know. He came in and he was willing to play whatever role we were willing to put him at. And, you know, it's a kid that you can move in certain positions, and we have those other kids on the team that makes life easy for us, and it makes matchups a nightmare for other teams, you know. So I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's exciting as a coach when you have all of these pieces that you can move around. So we got a long ways to go, but I'm looking forward to seeing what we can turn out and do.
Wagner goes 6 of 10 for a $156, 4 touchdowns in the first half with 86 yards rushing and a TD. Have you thought of him as a dual threat guy before tonight, and kind of what do you think people take away from tonight?
He showed some spurts with that during the spring, you know. So we all know that he can run. Right. But he proved it tonight. You play a team like Lake Taylor, man, they're going to make you earn every single yard that you get. And he was able to do some things to loosen them up some first quarter. And that really helped us out when we started making those strides towards the second and third quarter. So definitely a dual threat type of kid, but with no problem, this kid can sit in the pocket and deliver the ball.
Another thing, I mean, I'm sure you're going to pinpoint and nitpick some things that you go back on film, but, you know, in the past, even for either of you guys, Lake Taylor, but there might be a game you win like this margin, you lose this margin, you say, well, penalties hurt. Not a lot of penalties tonight. So I thought the discipline of your group in this heat and these conditions and what you dealt with also is going to be something that you can build on moving forward. Do you concur with that? Or?
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. These guys understand. We challenge them in situations during practice, and, you know, we really put the pressure on them to try to be as sound as possible, play by play, even when you're backside of the ball. You know, so you know, those things kind of when you continue to rep that stuff, it sinks in, and these kids are accepting it.
Finally, you got Minchville coming up. They're getting better, and you guys got a little bit of a target on your back as the PD team to beat. So, I mean, give me your thought on that one coming up.
Well, it's PD, so one thing about it, we understand that you can't go in half-stepping. Short turnaround for us. We get 1 day of rest, and we're right back at work on Monday. So we'll be ready to go. We understand it's going to be a good old-fashioned dog fight, and we're excited about it. Just as long as we can continue to play, you know, it's all exciting to be a part of this process.
A good first step for Coach Blunt's Phantoms. Thank you so much. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.